How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, I kind of just post whatever games people want to see, so let me know whatever you all would like to see. So, a couple days ago I beat Doom on Ultra Nightmare. I didn't end up posting that day because I beat it at like 1 in the morning, and I didn't really record the whole run. I just wanted to see how far I could get on an Ultra Nightmare, and I ended up beating it. So, if you didn't already know, if you beat the new DLC, Ancient Gods Part 2 on Ultra Nightmare, this is the armor that you receive. It's very easy. I just wanted to give a couple tips. If you've been playing on Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare, you shouldn't have too big of a problem learning how to do this, and this goes for console or PC, depending on your knowledge of the game. So I wanted just to give a couple simple tips to people that wanted to try it out. As far as runes go, I'm using air control, the one where it makes them stay staggered longer. That way if I end up getting a hit, I can go all the way around and then finish them off. And the last one is just a personal preference for me. I know other people don't use this, but I like the freezing time mid-aim in the air. I find it just to be extremely useful for certain situations, and I love using it. Alternatively, there is, of course, same as the base game, the save scum way of doing it. I don't recommend doing it that way because you aren't actually going to learn how to play the game, but it does exist. If you need to know how to do it, you can look it up. You basically just close your game and then restart it anytime you're about to die. Alright. So, basics for Ultra Nightmare. I honestly feel like for the majority of this game, other than very niche parts like the Baron of Hell and stuff like that, where you have to use a precision weapon to hit his hand, you can basically get through the entire game using shotgun ballista combo, which is why I said you could do this on console as well. It's not like you have to be that PC gamer that's just swapping weapons extremely quick. The one thing I do recommend you learn, although I did play through without doing, so you don't have to do it. I tried it out both ways. One thing that's extremely useful in Ultra Nightmare is knowing when to jump when meat hooking an enemy. Essentially what this is, and you'll see it in a lot of the higher level Doom community. I am not in the higher level, nor do I claim to be. I'm just helping people that are of my skill level that want the new mask. Essentially, all you have to do is, once you meat hook on and you get to a certain range, it depends on, the range of which you are meat hooking onto. As you know, with the new added effects where you can swing yourself around on the meat hook, you can also meat hook onto an enemy and then jump, and it'll soar you flying up into the air, and in the air you can go ahead and get a couple shots. Especially if you're on PC, you can do sniper, shotgun, or sniper, rocket, ballista, and the ballista pushes you back into the air a little bit, and then you can pull back out the shotgun and then relaunch yourself back into the air. I didn't do this a ton during my run. I was a bit tired, so I just didn't bother. And on my initial run, I didn't either because I was figuring out how to play again. But the one thing I will say in terms of getting Ultra Nightmare ready is just knowing where, for the most part, things will spawn. So if you've played through the DLC once, it's not a long DLC. You'll get plenty of tries. When I played through, it took me about an hour and 40 minutes. It's really not a long DLC, so it's not like you have to restart the entire story mode where you're going to play for a couple hours. It's nothing like that. Using your chainsaw, smart as well. In the background gameplay, I'm not always using it smart, but in certain rooms, they give you a lot of chainsaw ammo, so you may as well just use it to insta-kill bigger monsters. There's no reason not to use it for that. The other thing I want to say that you should be using a ton is just abusing the living crap out of the hammer. The hammer will give you armor, health, and ammo if you set it up correctly. So if you use your belch breath, you'll get armor. If you freeze, you get health. If you freeze and belch breath and then hammer, you get all. Obviously, if you do that, though, you don't get the stunning effect. So for bigger monsters, if you just really want to get them out of the way, I recommend freezing them. Like, for instance, the Armored Baron, if you just want to get him out of the way, you don't want his armor to come back. A simple fact is just break his armor, freeze him, shotgun ballista, shotgun ballista, shotgun ballista. If he doesn't die, then use the hammer. And finish them off. And once you get used to how much health the enemies have in Ultra Nightmare, because Ultra Nightmare just gives you 1 life on Nightmare difficulty, so it's nothing crazy. You'll get really used to getting your hammer back, and like I said, get really used to using the hammer. It's extremely powerful. The fact that you get armor, health, and ammo is absurd. I mean, it's just absurd. You can go from death to full health and full armor in an instant if you just have enough fodder demons around you. So the other thing I want to say is the new monsters and stuff like that. I think the Imp is pretty simple, self-explanatory. You can just use your rapid fire shotgun. He's not a problem. Or the hammer will kill all of them, so if you have a very big group of them, you can use the hammer on them if you really want. They really aren't much of a problem or a threat, if we're being honest. The new gunner turret guys with the yellow shields that you can't destroy, just fire a rocket behind them or a grenade, they're really not a problem either. A lot of the new monsters aren't a big problem. Like the Baron, yeah, you have to snipe his arm, but I don't think that's asking a ton. Obviously, PC, you can say, has better aim, and he could be annoying on console, but for the most part, you can just break his armor using, as they showed the plasma rifle. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank for some reason. They showed the plasma rifle. Personally, I've never broken it that way. I've always just sniped it, so I can't say with any true knowledge as to how long that would take. But people that aren't used to the Nightmare difficulty loop, Knights and stuff like that, if you're on console, shotgun ballista, shotgun will kill. It's just 3 shots and the Knight's dead. Any of your, I can't remember, the bigger Knight with the swords attached with the little tubes, if you just fire a lock-on rocket, that'll put him immediately in glory kill. Just some basic stuff like that. It's just knowing how to take out the enemies. Like I said, if any big enemies are giving you trouble, freeze or hammer. The frost will give you plenty of time to do some damage, and the hammer, obviously, again, will stun them, giving you plenty of time to do some damage. And as you can see from the background gameplay, I'm not the greatest player. I was able to beat it, so I wanted to put it out there that no, you don't have to be like a god at the game. I normally play on Nightmare difficulty just because I enjoy the challenge, but I still normally will get a death or 2, which is why Ultra Nightmare's never really been my big thing. Now, Marauders are as simple as usual. There is at one point during the 3rd mission where you have 2 Marauders, and eventually you'll have a Baron of Hell. For that part, the best way is at the very start. What you want to try to do is position yourself where you can see both of the Marauders. They're both pretty close to you, and the fastest way I found personally to kill them, at least in my opinion, and the just simplicity's sake, right, is if you have them both right in front of you, you can see them both. Once one goes for an attack, you can shoot him with the shotgun ballista, whatever you want, and then pull out your ballista, and the other one, assuming the spacing is right and all the stars align and all that crap, which they aligned both times I played it, so he will also attack you immediately after the next one, so you can shoot him and then hammer in between both of them, and that will get both of them in a stun. So then just choose one of them to shotgun ballista till they're dead. Then you can go over, chainsaw any of the fodder. Obviously, do not shoot the shriekers in that area. It'll fuck you over bad. But it'll allow you to kill one of them, and then the Baron will spawn. Use your hammer, or if you want, use a frost grenade to freeze him in place, fire some rockets, take him out. He's relatively easy, and you can avoid the Marauder during that part. Just try not to use, like, if he's in the middle, don't spam grenades because you don't want to hit the Shriekers. You don't want to piss all of them off. But that fight's relatively easy once you know what you want to do in there. And like I said, the hammer is your best friend. Even if you kill the Shrieker, they are still stunned for a period of time, so keep that in mind. Other things, if you're doing an Ultra Nightmare run, as the game stated, you do not need to do the level 2 where you pull the piece out. I'll show one in a sec. I can't remember what the name of it is, but the second one was only for cosmetics. As you can see right here, this one is, you only have to do the level 1. The level 2 is always the harder one. Personally, I don't see a point in doing the level 2 if you're doing an Ultra Nightmare run, because you want all the chances you can to live. So why would you put yourself in a harder situation, you know what I mean? So just do the level 1 for these if you are uncertain, but obviously if you don't really give a shit and you just want to kill everything, yeah, go for the level 2, it doesn't matter. It's just a cosmetic, and once you've already played through once, you're not going to get a different cosmetic, so it doesn't really matter. At least, in my opinion, it didn't matter when I ran through it. For this one in particular that I'm showing in the background gameplay, if you just chill over here and continue using the bar, I mean, you can sit up here basically the entire time. For the level 2 fight, you can't really, but that's a different story because you have monsters that you just can't kill fast enough to just stay here. So, like I said, it all depends on what you want to do, but regardless of if you're on console or PC, Shotgun Ballista will get everything done nice and easy for you. And as you can see, I used a hammer here. I have 3 glory kills, which automatically gives me my hammer back. I mean, abuse the hammer. I went from no health, about dead, to I have full health and full armor. Like, it's not difficult. It really isn't. Any other tips I can give, just, play the final boss a couple. If you want a big tip that helps a lot of players, have an additional game where you played through on Nightmare, and you can run through that game. You can just restart it, put infinite lives on, and just play it over and over and over and over again until you just feel extremely comfortable, and then go on your Ultra Nightmare level and do it then. I mean, that's just a simple way of doing it. As you can see here, I was having trouble with the chainsaw, but this is what I'm talking about. Any enemies that are just going to piss you off, there's so much chainsaw ammo, and I want to point out in this area, there are 2 hammers directly below me. I just wanted to see if I could do all of this without having to use any of them. Because normally I saved all of the hammers for the level 2, but because I'm only doing the level 1 this time, I didn't even think to use them. If we're being honest, I'm so used to doing the level 1 without going down there to grab them, because the level 2's where I normally use them. But honestly, it's not hard. And the prowlers, the cursing prowlers, yes, they can be very annoying. Yes, they can definitely ruin your day if you allow them to. They all have the same spawn. So, for instance, on the second mission, when you go to fight the same summoning thing where you summon all the demons and you fight all of them, where you first drop down where the plasma ammo is where the green demon will spawn. You can kill him immediately. In this room, you saw I took him out immediately. And in the third mission, at the very last fight, right before you finish the mission, he will spawn. As soon as you get through that door, you'll have the cutscene. To your left and up that lift, he will spawn immediately right there. So basically what I do at the start of that third mission, I'll kill the first few, imps or whatever, and I'll jump up there as soon as he spawns, take him out, don't have to deal with him the entire rest of the time. And that's why I said it would be good just to run through on a Nightmare difficulty. And if you guys want, I can post, how each mission is laid out if you guys end up wanting me to, or if you want to try out and later on ask me, hey, can you do this particular mission? I'm having trouble on it. I can do that. I know there's probably other channels that do it. I just haven't personally looked it up. So if there are other channels that do it, you can check them out as well. I'm not trying to be the only channel doing it, obviously. But the reason I'm making this video is because I want to push everyone to try it. I really don't think it's that hard. I know the monsters got nerfed and they aren't as aggressive, which is exactly why I think everyone should take the advantage and do it, because it's really easy right now. I'm not gonna lie. If you're used to playing on Nightmare, this isn't bad at all. But that's basically what I wanted to point out. As far as tips go, like I said, you can use Shotgun Ballista for the majority of the big monsters and big fights. Make sure your hammer is always up. If you aren't sure how to do that, or you're not sure how much damage the big enemies can take and you haven't like calculated it out, that's fine. Look for just typical small enemies. You know, your typical cannon fodder where you shoot them twice with the heavy rifle and you can finish them off. You can look for them, finish 2 off, and now you have the hammer back and you can go out and kill whoever you want. That's really all it takes to get through this Ultra Nightmare run. It's a shame that it's that simple, but it really is. The hammer, if you know how to use it, can be extremely simple. As for the final boss, once you're used to his patterns, he's not hard. By the way, when he summons the big group of enemies, your hammer can take it out, and there are fodder demon around you, so by the end you can use the BFG if you just want to knock all of them out immediately. Keep that in mind. So if you're full on BFG, by the way, use the BFG a ton. There's a lot of ammo. Look how much BFG ammo there is in the level. Figure out your problem areas and don't be afraid to use the BFG, because there's ammo in a lot of these missions. But for the final boss, the Dark Lord, when he does summon the 4 bigger enemies, you can just BFG and kill all of them and then not worry about them. You could also use the hammer, killing all of them and not worry about them, but then you'd have to either kill Fodder Demon or kill the wolves that he summons. And I know sometimes it's RNG, what he's going to summon and all that kind of stuff. On both of my runs, he for the most part summoned wolves a lot more than anything else. But I did have, at one point, where he just would summon the big monsters over and over, so using both my BFG and then my hammer, I was like, geez, is he ever going to give me something else? But for the most part, keep your distance, dodge all of his attacks that aren't, you know, the counterable thing. He's pretty easy. You don't always have to double dash, but if you are afraid of getting hit, you can double dash most of his attacks. It's really not hard. It's really not. But like I said, guys, if you want me to do particular level breakdowns, or if you have a particular fight you find harder than the others, let me know and I can look into that particular one. But as far as everything else goes, I know I had a couple Doom lovers on here that say that they always play on Nightmare and all that. Let me know down below, did you finish on Ultra Nightmare? Did you also find it easy? If you did, or if you just ran on Nightmare, how did you think the game played? Was it easy to you? Was it hard? Or did you think it was, you know, it was fine? It felt normal. I'd love to hear. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you in a later video. Let me know what you all think down below, or if you aren't even into Doom, let me know that you don't even care. Just say, I mean, dude, who cares? Down below. I know there's Doom channels out there. I just figured no one was really saying just play Ultra Nightmare. It's really easy this time around. Just play it. So I wanted just to come out and be like, dude, just play it. It's pretty easy right now. But anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that some of this helps. Obviously, I didn't go through the entire campaign upon recording again to show all the very particular situations that I was talking about. But, like I said, if you guys want me to go through, go ahead. This is essentially me just telling all of you should definitely play it on Ultra Nightmare. It's extremely easy. Some of these tips are just basic things I know some people may not just know off the top of their head. So, anyways, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.